All that's left for us now is to click Restore Byzantium. There we go! The Byzantine Empire has been restored. Look at that nice shade of purple. We have millions of manpower, and we still have several mobilization laws to go in case we run out. Most of our territory is now cores. Construction-wise, we have 27 civilian factories. Not great, not bad either. Military factories, 29 available. Only 3 dockyards, but we have enough territory to build more, so there's plenty of growth potential here. All that's left to do to continue this game is to knock out the UK and conclude your war with the Allies. Simply a matter of taking your course afterwards, or if you're just after the achievement, you can call it a day here. But first, if you like these videos, leave a like, consider subscribing for more of them, and hit me up in the comments with what you want to see next. Now, on to the video. Hey folks, Peter Steele here, back with another guide for Hearts of Iron 4. And boy, do I have a good one for you today. The country we're going to go for today isn't in this list. It's not even in the bottom list here, no, it's one of these other countries. Can you guess yet which it is? Can you? Can you? I bet you can. It's Greece, ladies and gentlemen. Greece. Yes, that can only mean one thing. And you're right. We are going to go for the achievement. I swear I'm not a Byzantophile, which would be a lie, because I am a Byzantophile. I love me some Byzantine Empire. So, we're gonna leave the game on Iron Man with historical focuses on. Let's get cracking. Now, as you can see, there's nothing really special about Greece. No national spirits, not even a unique focus tree. While we're here, let's start laying out the basics here. First off, we're gonna take the political tree, starting with political effort, and we're gonna go down all the way down the left path here, which is ironically the right-wing path, down to ideological fanaticism. We're going to rush for this, so it's gonna be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 focuses before we have anything else to do. So I'm not gonna constantly repeat what focus I'll be taking. It's just all of these until we get ideological fanaticism. Now, why do we want ideological fanaticism? Do we want that kamikaze strike? Doesn't really matter. We don't want any of those things in particular. They're great, like that extra war support's nice, the division attack, etc. It's all nice, but the important bit is you will be able to create factions, and through those factions we can cheese some of the guarantees preventing us from taking territory. You'll see, you'll see. As for construction, just plop down military factories everywhere, prioritizing the regions with the highest infrastructure first. Our production, add one more to the infantry equipment and produce some towed artillery. That's all of our 4 factories done. Research. First things we're gonna research is armor. Yes, I know what you're thinking, but Greece doesn't have a large army. How can they support this with their tiny economy? You'll see. You'll see. So, Great War tanks. After which we're going to go for light tank 2 as fast as possible. The rest of our research will go into electronic engineering and the industry. While we're here, let's also make some convoys. Convoys are great. We're going to take the entire military, yes, the entire military, and just set them here. Yeah, that'll do. And we're going to convert all of these boys to the Merarchia Ipikuo? The horse boys. Yes, they're all going to be horse boys. Let's give them a general and set them to exercising. Now, if you look at this template, it's 12 width. So once we have some experience, we're gonna knock 1 cavalry off here, and we'll be changing the recon detachment to an artillery detachment, making this a 10 width cavalry template with artillery support. This is going to be our fodder to man the lines, to fill the gaps, while the Armoured Division that we will be designing later is gonna do the punching. That's pretty much our setup done, and let's kick things off.
1 hour later.
And the first batch of PP, or political power, is going to the fascist demagogue. Start preparing to flip. We're also going to be hoarding some of this political power. We will be using it primarily to send attaches to Spain and later on Japan to get that sweet military experience we desperately require, and for some justifications once we have flipped fascist. Let's keep this train going. After we get electronic mechanical engineering, let's also get mechanical computing. Basic machine tools done. Let's get dispersed the industry of our choice.
Meanwhile.
Now for fascism on the rise, we're going to ignore prepare for civil war. It is the quickest path, but not the path we want. It would destabilize our country too much. Instead, we're going to open up political discourse here, but we're not going to expand civil support or discredit the government. We're just going to wait until we can hold the national referendum. We have to wait for ideological fanaticism anyway, so we have all the time in the world to naturally switch over to fascist instead of losing some stability. We need that stability for production. With the Great War tanks done, let's start work on the lights and take one factory away from infantry equipment and put it on Great War tanks. We will be needing a lot of these tanks, so preferably we would prioritize them. Once we have 5 factories on them, put 3 on infantry equipment and then adjust as we go. This is not set in stone, so you may need to switch these around as you see your numbers change. It might depend on your playthrough.
20 minutes later.
Nationalist Spain has declared war on Spain. We're gonna go to our good friend here, Franco. No, that's not Franco. Sanjuro, and send a attaché. And for some reason it took a day to go by before they decide to accept our attaché. So just go to Jose Sanjuro of Nationalist Spain, send an attaché, and behold, army experience.
A few inches later.
Now with the army experience coming in from Spain, you can stop your own exercising and conserve your equipment. And that is our basic trash filler done. Just 5 cavalry battalions, I think? Oh, 5 cavalry and support artillery. These are our basic fodder. Let's keep working on the industry. Let's get next level dispersed, as well as construction. Light tank 1 done. Let's get light tank 2. And change production from these obsolete Great War tanks into actual light tanks. Now that is a ridiculous looking model though. We're not gonna modify the government just yet. We're still conserving our political power. We have some army experience again. Let's start preparing our armored divisions. We're going to take this shitty tenuith and duplicate it. These can be our... what are we gonna call these boys? Something nice and Greek. Yes, the armoreds, the armored boys, make them elite, and add armored battalion light tanks to it. Save. This is the model that we will be building upon. This will go up to 40 combat width, while at the same time trying to keep our organization somewhere between 25 and 30. We're also gonna set up a line of training. We don't really have all the equipment we need just yet. We're gonna start training some more of these fodder units to get them out the door.
3 days later.
Whenever Spain or someone else objects to your attaché, tell them to get stuffed. We don't care. With dispersed 2 done, we could take construction 2, but I think it's going to be more valuable to start work on some of that support equipment. And with light tanks 2 done, we should be done for tanks for now. The rest is quite a bit ahead of time. We don't have the industrial capacity to switch over to mediums on the fly like that, and lights 3 are quite a ways off. So they can help by getting ourselves maintenance companies. That does look a bit more like an actual tank now. Now with ideological fanaticism done, we have finished our political part of the tree, for now, and we can start diverting some energy into the other parts, either industrial or army effort. Now we're still a bit off from our goals, and we need a lot more tanks, so I'm going to go with the industrial effort first. And we can also switch over via the national referendum. Let's click that. Congratulations, we are now the National Union of Greece, and first order of business is to spend some political power on the war economy. Now we're going to save up to about 120, 130-ish political power before we can start justifying a war goal on Yugoslavia and Albania. Or rather, Albania and then Yugoslavia at the same time. You'll see, the order matters. Let's add a few more tanks to this template. They have the experience. So why not? That's starting to look like a proper tank division. Just need to add about 7 more tanks to it and then fill it out with cavalry. And we're all caught up with industry except for maybe construction, but that's not a priority right now. We should get radio, however. Radio is important in the coming wars. This should be enough political power to start our justifications. First off, we're going to go to Albania and justify a war goal, conquer Albania. This will take 315 days, and go. Now we're gonna go to Yugoslavia, justify a war goal on whatever. This will take 360 goals. 360 days, I'm sorry. The war goal for Yugoslavia will finish before the war goal on Albania has expired. This is vital because we need to declare war on Yugoslavia. With us being at war and a little bit of a relationship boost, Italy will be willing to join our faction. And then with Italy in our faction, we can declare war on Albania with impunity, because the guarantee will be overridden by Italy being in our faction. And with that, we will be able to annex these two countries without triggering a major world war. So these two will be easy to grab, and the others, we'll get to the others later. Meanwhile, it's very important that we keep building up our stockpiles and our army. Especially the light tanks. We'll need a lot of light tanks for that one very big, very strong division we are creating. And to get more tanks, I suggest focusing on the armament effort. Now, a second source of plentiful army experience is going to be Japan. This is up to you whether you do this or not, but I quite like to get more army experience to upgrade my divisions and to rush ahead on my doctrine research. So I'm going to improve relations with Japan and send them an attaché when I get 100. Infantry equipment still a little bit ahead of time. We're working on the artillery. Now with this 100% bonus, why not just get construction? I mean, 80 days, get more military factories built quicker, get more tanks out. Seems like a good idea.
6 hours later.
It's time to look at the doctrines. Now, this is a bit of a personal choice. Superior firepower will be the more generic choice. It is good in almost all situations. Personally, I want to give mobile warfare a spin because this playthrough will focus on tanks as the heavy hitters or the killers. Speaking of radio, that's done as well. Start improving the infantry equipment. Spain has almost finished its civil war. We still need quite a bit of army experience. So we'll turn to Japan, who must like us quite a bit now after our relationship improvement, and send them an attaché. Now with the armament effort focus is done, we can turn to the army effort, get ourselves some bonuses for the doctrines as well. We're churning out light tanks at a respectable pace now. We should have enough to equip at least one full division of our heavy armor, well, our light armor, and let's throw in maintenance companies. This will be the basis with which we go to war. This will be the division that does the heavy lifting. The light cavalry units, the 10 withs, will basically serve as fillers for the line to simply put bodies on the front line, while this division will be the fist that punches through, creates encirclements, and runs amok with the enemy divisions. These are light tanks. Later on, as your industry has grown and you have formed Byzantium, you can convert these to mediums once your industry allows, but for fighting the AI, light tanks should be sufficient. And as our industry ramps up and we get more research out of the way, we will replace these cavalry battalions with motorized for more speed. Now we're not going to train any of these exclusively. We'll just take one of the shitty cavalry divisions, assign them to a new army, and convert them into the tanks. We're still a few light tanks short, but we still have about 100 days to produce 200 more. We should get there. This army can get a new commander. A new commander, that's good. Well, no geniuses in here, but they'll have to do. You can re-roll a few times, see if there's anything interesting in there. No, this is costing me too much. Ah, there we go. The brilliant strategist. Just pick whoever you want leading the army. Put these guys together under a field marshal. The brilliant strategist can be promoted, and we'll give him aggressive assaulter for more breakthrough to tanks somewhere else. The tanks will be micromanaged to use them effectively. So if you're not up to that, the strategy might not be for you, but you can do this instead with 7-2 infantry divisions with artillery instead. I just like the micro, and I think this is very cost effective for a country like Greece. Now we should research some motorized so we can start producing it eventually, probably after we've eaten Albania and Yugoslavia. The justification for Albania is complete, but we're not declaring war yet. We need to wait for the Yugoslavian one to finish. Meanwhile, make sure your relations with Italy are high. Now that we have our attaché in Japan, we can actually use our political power for ourselves again. With war on the horizon, let's get the army offense expert. We'll be doing a lot of attacking. There we go. Justification on Yugoslavia is complete. We will go to Yugoslavia, declare war. Next up, let's talk to Italy, create a faction. Any faction. What faction shall we call us? Memes. Yes. The dawn of memes, ladies and gentlemen. And now we can declare war on Albania. without any repercussions from Italy. Don't call Italy into this war, however. They have some claims on northern Yugoslavia. You want all Yugoslavian land. You don't want Italy taking any of it. Only reason they're in this faction is to keep them from getting involved with Albania. Now, it's time to take the speed all the way down, like 3 should do, and start micromanaging. Let's pin this Albanian division in place, and the armor can just drive around them. There we go, that's Albania capitulated in record time. Taken all of their stuff as well. Extend the front line so your cavalry boys can get involved, and your armored unit is going to keep punching through these weak Yugoslav divisions and creating encirclements, destroy the encirclements, and keep moving, keep taking victory points, and just focus on capitulating Yugoslavia as quickly as possible while minimizing your losses. One idea is to launch small attacks that aren't aimed at actually winning against the Yugoslavian front line, while your armored unit rushes behind this line and tries to go for a big encirclement of the Yugoslav front line. This is not a guaranteed victory, but it's also something. It's always something you can try. Unfortunate, they managed to respond, but it's okay, we can still create some encirclements. And the speed of these cavalry fodder units means they'll be quick to fill gaps and to help those encirclements remain encircled. And if you see gaps, don't be afraid to use your cavalry to push. With a minimum of casualties and loss of equipment, and in a rather speedy fashion, we have capitulated Yugoslavia, taken a lot of their stuff, including, well, a few tanks. Great war tanks. They're not great, but still, pass a few times and take all states. There we go. We have Albania under our belt, as well as the entirety of Yugoslavia, and Italy got none of it. So goodbye Italy, you've served your purpose, we'll kick you from the faction. We will disband our memes and look to Germany to join their faction instead. We're now in the Axis. We're gonna take our father boys and line them up on Bulgaria. Bulgaria will be our next target, but not yet. We're going to wait until Germany kicks off World War II. We're going to join that war, and being at war as a fascist nation will then give us very fast war goal justification, which we'll use to then justify on Bulgaria, consume them as fast as possible. Then we'll turn our attention to Romania, getting them quickly before Hungary gets involved. Hungary will have some claims on Banat. That's going to be the biggest issue. We'll have to take that land very quickly. And after Bulgaria and Romania are in our hands, finally turn to Turkey, the final piece of the puzzle. But before any of that, let's look to this infantry division. Let's add one infantry unit and some artillery, support artillery. We'll train about 12 of these. 2 batches of 6 should do. These will be used as our port guards. We don't want the UK to just start naval invading the shit out of us once the war kicks off. Other than that, we are just going to sit back and wait for World War II to fire while we build up our army some more. And part of that building up is going to be the construction effort to get ourselves some more civilian factories. And again, to create more armored divisions, just pick a reasonably experienced one from the shitty cavalry ones, assign them to the tank lads, and just convert to template. We have some time before Germany starts World War II, so we'll get the silent workhorse. Now you'll notice there's a bit of resistance in the territory we just conquered. So one way of dealing with pesky resistance is to create one very large cavalry template and just use that as a suppression template. Of course, swap out the support artillery for MPs once those are researched.
Many months later.
These infantry boys that we have recruited, we're going to use these as port guards. So just draw a garrison order on every port that you have and just plop 1 division on there. Just to make sure that the UK doesn't try any funny business. They do love their naval invasions. You should have 12 ports in the Mediterranean, so these 12 divisions should be enough to guard every port. 1 division per port. Now naturally, if they throw a particularly large naval invasion at you, you may need to back up your troops. And don't forget to garrison Crete. We need this for the achievement. And the troops can exercise while we wait for war. And war draws ever closer, so we'll also start improving our army a bit more.
3 weeks later.
Et voila! Germany has done Danziger War, and naturally Poland refuses. It's gonna let a day tick by. Germany declares war. We're going to join those wars. Now we're at war with everyone and anyone, and now we can justify quickly on the Bulgarians in 35 days for only 7 political power. Now we have our justification. We are ready to declare war on Bulgaria. Keep the game paused. Don't do anything yet. Now declare war on Bulgaria. Don't call in your allies. Do call in your allies. Doesn't matter at this point. They'll join the allies anyway, and they'll be rolled into World War II. Next up, justify a war goal on Romania instantly for 45 days, 9 political power. Do this as quickly as possible, immediately. We have to get the timing just right, otherwise Hungary will join the Allies, or rather the Axis, and start gobbling up Romanian parts that you need when you go to war. So another bit of micromanagement, kick these guys' ass. And that knocks out Bulgaria in a timely fashion again. They had a lot of motorized for us. Now we line everybody up on the Romanian border, focus our tanks to the north. This is the territory we want to capture before the Hungarians here get any ideas. And that concludes the justification on Romania. immediately declare war on them. We'll hold off on justifying on Turkey, because we could do that very quickly thanks to our claim on Istanbul. As you can see, Hungary has managed to fabricate some claims here. We want to take the area they have claims on quickly before they join the Axis, otherwise this area might flip to them. They can have Transylvania, we just need Banat, Oltensia, Muntensia, and Dobruja down here. Or Dobruja? Either way. And again, micromanagement is key. And that knocks Romania out of the war, so just Turkey left. Now, as you can see, the dates between these two scenes don't line up quite right. That's because this is a new playthrough. I had to go through all of this again due to some save file corruption. I lost most of the game, but here we are again. We followed the same steps and come to the same results with only the Turks left in our way. Now it's just a matter of justifying a war goal on Turkey, which doesn't take too long, 10 days, because we have a claim on Istanbul. Let's get everything in position, and the idea is to punch through these two provinces with our armor, head towards Istanbul and immediately across the strait, ideally towards Izmit and the port of Duce. or whatever, to keep ourselves from being bottled up on these two tiny provinces here. Turkey has a relatively large army, but our tanks should be able to punch through them, resulting in their encirclement on the European part of the strait. Another problem could be a large amount of British forces that will suddenly enter the area, because the Turks will join the Allies. And then a final issue, and this one is rather persistent and quite annoying. For some reason, Italy will stack the shit out of the Dodecanese with troops, and if you're very unlucky, they will pour these into Antalya and take the province of Antalya. So your first order of business once you've crossed this strait is to drive straight home from Antalya, get as many of the tiles as you can before the Italians get a foothold here, because if they do, you're in for a much longer playthrough. That will mean you taking large chunks of the Soviet Union, then transferring occupation to Italy until they have enough land that they'll be finally willing to give you some slices of it. You'll need to get your war participation up, you'll have to keep Italy's down, you'll have to give them a lot of land just so they will give you this one tiny little province that you need. So this is all very hit and miss, this bit. It's very unfortunate, but I don't have another way of doing this. Otherwise you will have to fight the entire Allies to a standstill. Well, not a standstill, defeat them, which means airdropping the UK or something. I haven't really built up for this. So let's just hope to God Italy is super incompetent as they usually are, because if they take this province, you're in for a very long game. So we'll declare war, they'll immediately join the Allies. Now it's time to micro our tanks quickly towards Antalya. Speed is going to be everything here. Keep these troops pinned. You don't want them reinforcing these guys here. Have to get through this as quickly as possible or risk being trapped on this side of the strait. Fortunately, it does seem like Italy is incompetence incarnate and they've lost roads. Now, I only have one more port in the Dodecanese, I believe. I'm not even sure this place has a port. Anyway, this is the biggest threat. If these guys get out, they'll quickly take this province, so keep that in mind. Speed, boys, speed. Man, we really gotta race our tanks through and take Antalya and their surrounding areas before the Italians get it.
A few moments later.
Oh, thank God we managed to beat them here. Just barely, because the AI decided not to move around too much. Italy is a nightmare for this bit. Like I said, if you don't manage to secure Antalya here, you will have to take it in the peace deal, which means you'll have to defeat the United Kingdom. there we go. Turkey has capitulated, giving us some stuff. Great news. And have a look around. We can now press the button to restore Byzantium, giving us the achievement. Few notes on this if you're less successful. First off, you may be required to mop up some British or French troops stuck here. Second off, like I said before, Italy might have taken some of this land that you take. If they have, build up a navy of submarines and prepare for a naval invasion of England, and you can take most of the land you need in the peace deal. If not all of the land you need in the peace deal. Just make sure you get across that channel and knock out the UK before the US joins the war. All that's left for us now is to click Restore Byzantium. There we go! The Byzantine Empire has been restored. Look at that nice shade of purple. We have millions of manpower and we still have several mobilization laws to go in case we run out. Most of our territory is now cores. Construction wise, we have 27 civilian factories. Not great, not bad either. Military factories, 29 available. Only 3 dockyards, but we have enough territory to build more, so there's plenty of growth potential here. All that's left to do to continue this game is to knock out the UK and conclude your war with the Allies. Simply a matter of taking your course afterwards, or if you're just after the achievement, you can call it a day here. I hope you liked this video. If you did, leave a like, consider subscribing if you want to see more of this. Tell me in the comments what you want to see next. Give me some great ideas for videos in the past. I hope to see some more from you guys. Thank you for watching. If you didn't like the video, if you didn't like something I did, if you didn't like my strategies, tell me in the comments and hit that dislike button. This has been me, Bittersteel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.